Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, and welcome to the Groupchat Wrestling Podcast, where we dive into the wild world of wrestling, the only sport where threatening a child can make you the most beloved face in the business. Join us as we unravel the mysteries of wrestling storylines, analyze jaw-dropping matches, and speculate wildly on who's going to turn heel next. Get ready for a ringside seat to the excitement and absurdity of wrestling with us every week.
Welcome to episode 9 of the Group Chat Wrestling Podcast. I'm Wrestling Mark, taking the reins this week as your lead presenter, taking the pressure after one fucking beast of a show last night. Today we're joined by an AEW Twitter legend in AEW Blog. So, bro, how you doing?
Appreciate that introduction, man. Don't know about legend, but I appreciate you guys having me. Great to be with you guys. Let's have a good chat. Let's discuss All Out 2024, man.
And happy belated birthday for last week as well, brother. And yeah, so how'd you summarize last night? Do you want to take the reins quickly? What was your thoughts on last night's show?
I think it was a really, really good show to say after such a successful event at All In, for them to sort of turn around within like a week or so, come up with a interesting card, good stories and good matches, and no issues whatsoever last night. Like, everything just seemed so smooth. It was run quickly and nicely. It did seem a bit more fast-paced than obviously previous years, but you know, overall, such a good show, man. Such a good show. You know, from Garcia to MJF, Willow, Chris. Mercedes match was okay. I mean, she's still getting her feet in, so I don't, I'm not going to judge her at all. But she did really well with Shida. Will Ospreay and Pac-Man, oh my god, just ridiculous!
What a match!
What a match! And then obviously you fast forward to the main event, mate. I don't even before the main event, the betrayal of Bryan Danielson and getting him kicked out of the BCC or whatever, which looks that way anyway. That shock there, and then also watching that match, I'm still tired from that match. Let's just
mate, it was emotionally draining.
It was crazy. I did not think that they would sort of like literally after a week of having such a big pay-per-view that they would take it up that high for All Out. It's going to be a memorable match for sure.
I think it's fair to say that it must be accepted now that it's the norm that AEW's pay-per-views are always going to be at this level now, because it's just, again, we've got 4 pay-per-views this year that, again, like if someone sat there and said there's four pay-per-views this year that people could genuinely say that's potentially my favorite wrestling show of all time, and I wouldn't think you're being far-fetched. But yeah, anyone else, before we get into it, has anyone else got any 2 cents they want to chuck in about last night?
I knew that was going to happen.
That's all good. Look, let's be fair, we've got a lot to talk about anyway, so let's just crack straight on. I'm going to be honest. I think we should cut out 0 Hour. It was not noteworthy enough. There wasn't enough to talk about on there. Mariah May, who I was kind of looking forward to her bit on the main show, ended up being a very, very dud pre-show bit. Her and Aminata, that'll be really good. I'm looking forward to that. But the whole thing was very anticlimactic. And the match was just TK being a nice guy as usual and saying, right, how can I get 35 people into an hour show beforehand? Which he did. He achieved it. Nothing on there was memorable personally, so I reckon we head straight into the opening contest, and it was a fucking banger. MJF, Daniel Garcia. Who wants to go first?
MJF Garcia. Solid opener. Really, really emotionally charged. Like Danny Garcia was getting like insane reactions. Like the crowd was super into him. I thought he and MJF had really good chemistry. I think they just really gel well with each other. And yeah, I was surprised at the finish. But if we are, the news is coming out today that MJF's taking a little bit more time off, perhaps just to sort of, not go too far after his, comeback from injury, then fair enough. Gives Danny, something to sink his teeth into. But yeah, I mean, what a coup for, AEW signing this NXT prodigy, right? Fucking absolutely incredible, man. I'm so happy for him. He's smashing it.
Do we all feel that he's definitely re-signed now then?
Mate, from the start of the fucking MJF turn, they've spoke about him on TV every fucking week, a lot.
Yeah.
A fucking lot. They had a fucking YouTube show. There was an interview with Daddy Magic, and the whole fucking purpose of the interview was for him to put over Daniel Garcia. He's going nowhere. I don't understand how this got legs. It was a throwaway comment by someone trying to get some fucking traction because they've decided they're now an insider. And for some bizarre reason, it's got legs. And now we're in this fucking bizarre situation where whenever a wrestler loses in AEW, that's because they're leaving. They're leaving. Do you remember when Pac left about 3 months ago when he lost to Okada? And when Hook left because he lost to Jericho? And now apparently Garcia must still be leaving because he's lost. Fucking bollocks. MJF at the end of the day, right? MJF is one of the best wrestlers in the world. He's one of the company's top men. I love Daniel Garcia, but you don't just put him over MJF just for the sake of it. You need to build something a bit more.
It did feel to me that I thought the thought of, I know it doesn't mean that much, but the thought of MJF and Swerve both losing back-to-back pay-per-view match, I thought it was a bit fanciful, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah,
but the match itself, for me personally, mate, I thought it was a banger. Like, I thought the story throughout the match last night was brilliant. MJF put Garcia over the whole way. Garcia's selling was great. Again, it was just intertwined with a lot of what's gone on lately. Everything was perfect. The end was fine. It's MJF. He's kicked him in the bollocks and won. Like, it wasn't a big deal. Maybe it did feel slightly flat. Again, it leaves it open for a rematch, which my gut instinct will be with. I mean, I saw someone say if they're going to keep playing on Garcia leaving or not, it could be with Daniel Garcia's AEW future on the line. I don't know. But yeah, I assume we're getting another match between them at either Grand Slam or at the latest Wrestle Dream. Well, probably Wrestle Dream if MJF's going to be off for a few weeks.
Do you think if Daniel Garcia was leaving and they thought he was leaving, do you think he interferes at all in? And do you think he even has that match in the first place? No fucking chance.
That's true.
No.
Like it's all and the end was brilliant. I thought, and not the finish. The finish was just old school heel finish, but the end with Daniel Garcia beating the living shit out of him, it's fucking brilliant, and it's going to set up to another match. A lot of people are speculating maybe Grand Slam, which could possibly be one to maybe
in New York still, isn't it? They're both from New York, New York City Street Fight or something like that.
Could be one to write MJF out for a bit then, if that's the case.
Because I mean, they're saying that he's out from last night, but I mean, he's been back now for what I don't know, 3 months at most. He's had 8 matches, including when he was down in CMLL and over in Rev Pro. So he's had 8 matches in that time. If he is taking more time off, then you wonder, are they erring on the side of caution, or is it a bit of a worry that they're feeling his body's like
he's off the film
100% yet.
This is it. I think after his lengthy time off. The end of last year, you probably think, okay, well, he could just take it easy for a little while, and just give Garcia like some momentum, like doing like the second rope pile driver and everything, just a way to write him off so he can just recuperate a bit, and hopefully not like anger the women's locker room and punch a wall and piss off Britt Baker and everything, just to sort of diffuse the situation. What a load of bollocks.
I think they should follow up on that though. I think the commentary team need to basically say on Dynamite, look, we're not sure how long MJF's going to be out for, but he's hurt his neck or whatever. Just make something up quickly, just to make it clear why he's not there, right? And we don't want to do what they did with Daniel Garcia, where they don't say anything at all, and everyone's just online saying, "Oh, is he signed? Is he not signed?"
They were talking about Garcia every week, though, on commentary.
Of course, they have. They've dropped
him all the time.
They've not really said it like full on. Do you know what I mean? They've not really said
Daddy Magic's not shut up about him. He's constantly been talking about him.
Daddy Magic's interview with Renee. You're on about that one, right? The roundup.
Because that was the whole point of that interview was to talk about Daniel Garcia and put over the whole story.
Literally, I think when I was watching that, I was like literally 10-15, but probably like not 10-15, sorry. Like probably 5 minutes of this is about Daddy Magic. The rest is just Daniel Garcia.
I love Daddy Magic. He's fucking brilliant.
He's brilliant. Brilliant.
Maybe when MJF does come back, he beats the shit out of Daddy Magic.
Right, I don't want to be negative, but like when MJF sort of had his injury and sort of like faded away for a while, when he did come back, he just didn't quite seem like his normal self, if that makes sense. So I think if he needs to take more time off to recuperate and obviously, get back in the gym or get fit again and do more tests, whatever, I think fair play to him. I think that's the best thing to do.
I agree. I think when he first came back, like his the first bit he did was his match with Roosh was fine. It was a decent TV match. He then had the Forbidden Door match, which was let's be honest, crap.
It was half-assed to fuck, wasn't it? Yeah, it was like
it looked like
Norm's ass.
But then it kicked in like, all right, maybe the promos with Ospreay weren't well beaten, but the matches, let's be honest, whatever anyone wants to say, the hour match was brilliant. The match at Wembley was insane. The match last night was brilliant. He's match with I think he had a match with Carl Fletcher as well, didn't he? If trying to remember if that was actually any good. Can't actually remember. I think it was.
It was good.
Yeah, it was the opening match, wasn't it, on a Dynamite? Yeah, that was a good match. So look, he's come back. He's had really good matches. He's measured differently compared to most people. There's very little leeway given with him. And look, him coming and going a bit, it adds to his aura, I suppose, if he's not always there, because you got to think when he had his title reign, how little he was actually rested at that point, and before he won the title. So it's not a bad thing to have him dipping in and out all the time, keep him fresh. But like, for anyone to say that he's like, especially since his first match with Ospreay, he's been fucking brilliant since then.
That TV match was one of the best matches I've ever seen. Sorry, mate, go.
Amazing. It's fucking amazing.
According to Meltzer and the guy that we don't talk about on here, MJF's going to film a movie.
Oh, is he?
Oh, okay.
Okay, that's cool.
He's built for that kind of thing. He's got, he's kind of got that whole sort of aesthetic about him. Like you can see him in movies. Because he's only, 26, 27, 28. Mm. He's still so young. Like, he doesn't need to be wrestling like every week.
No.
And his character sort of, is fit for that kind of whole sort of dynamic, isn't it? So, yeah, it's fine. Give him a few weeks off to film a movie or whatever, come back, do a grudge match with Danny, and then see what happens.
One last thing I would say as well before we sort of move on is I would love if AEW does that more, where they rotate the roster. Do you know what I mean? Because it gets to a point where you see someone so much that you just predict their moveset as it's happening, and it's just like I've already seen this all year. Do I really need to see it again? Do you know what I mean? Like, for example, the 0 Hour for All Out, you had Hologram, Sammy, and Dustin as a team, right? I literally watched that the week before on ROH, and the whole match was pretty much similar. And it's just like, it's a bit weird. Like, I would love it if Tony actually does a rotation of, you've got a massive roster, they're all incredible people, good names, rotate it. There's nothing wrong with your top stars losing matches. There's nothing wrong with your top stars, for example, missing 2 weeks so someone else can step in and showcase their skills. I think that's what attracted a lot of people to AEW during the pandemic and during the beginning of the company, was because you kept seeing loads of different faces. You never saw the same person multiple times. Okay, yeah, we got to see Kenny, Hangman, and Young Bucks, and MJF and Wardlow, the main key players, okay. But you got to see so many different people that it felt like you are actually watching the whole roster showcase them skills and, be out there basically. But we don't see that anymore. It just feels like a WWE type of show where it's like, okay, here's 10 people that we want to showcase tonight. Let's just go with that. And then it sort of follows up month after month. And I don't know. I might be waffling, guys, but tell me what you think.
I think the top of the card is the thing. They've got so many people that can step into the top of the card that they can rotate that a lot. Their headline-ish, the top upper mid card and their main event scene is huge. It's no other companies anywhere near as big. And there is a chance now. We're gonna have no MJF and no Swerve on TV for a few weeks. Obviously, you add to the fact there's no Kenny on TV. Adam Cole, if you want to put him into that conversation, and Jay White as well. There are spaces now for other people to probably step up and say, look, I can be put into that category now. Moxley's obviously going to come back into the top of the card now, having kind of not been there for a while. And again, this is a chance for Claudio and Pac as well. They're going to be monster shithouse heels now. There's a chance for them to state their claim being at the very top of the card for a bit as well.
One of Tony's sort of biggest criticisms from us is that he doesn't always know how to pivot when things change, when things go wrong. And I think this is kind of an example of that, because I don't know about you, but I feel like I've seen the Undisputed Kingdom and the conglomeration far too many times now.
Yeah, exactly.
Undisputed Kingdom,
they need to just change it up a bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like the Undisputed Kingdom, when it all went to shit with Adam Cole's injury, they should have just fucked him off and just gone back to the drawing board, because it just feels pointless. Roddy's getting some great matches, but the rest of them just feel like, what's the point? And like, is Wardlow even alive? Who cares? Nobody cares.
No, I mean they've clearly given up on Wardlow now. He's in the Ricky Starks room, just sitting there, just looking at the clock, waiting for time to leave. Now there's the fact that they still have Bennett, Tavern, and Strong on TV, and there's no sign of him for months on end now. I have no idea when the last time he had a match was. It was
the title match with Joe, and then on that one Dynamite, and back in like April, and that was it before Dynasty.
March 13th his last match was against Joe. So we've not actually he's not had a match now for this week is going to be 6 months. They've given up on him. It's
he's been on TV though, hasn't he? Because if you remember, he was on TV, and there was that great moment when Adam Cole was behind him, and he's giving him this death look, and you thought, oh, here we go, something's going to happen.
That was the last time. That was the last time he was on the AEW TV. But last actual time he was on TV was on ROH, and he came out to help Roddy win a match or something, and then apparently he hit his ankle, and then they walked out, and then
really?
They did a backstage interview. It was pretty good interview actually, but then after that, nothing. There's no Wardlow, nothing. Same with Ricky Starks, Miro. What the hell is Miro doing? What is happening with this guy? He was such a great TNT champion. He was actually quite good, and I don't know what's happening.
I think there could be a combination of things with Miro. I want to be kind of sensitive there because I know he went back to Bulgaria for a while after he got divorced, and I'm going to be very mindful of the fact that because we haven't heard that much from him. We've heard Starks, we've seen Starks be active on social media, saying, why the fuck am I not being used? Just making sure he's staying relevant. Miro's been very quiet, so it wouldn't surprise me if there's a bit more to it in terms of maybe mental health, maybe something a bit more sensitive with him, because it's that, or it's the fact that he's in that same room as they are, just sitting there waiting for his contract to be up to see. I mean, I don't know if WWE would want him back, but But I again with him, it's a hard one to know, and it's got to the point now where there's no one that's not on TV for these reasons that I really want to see on TV now. There's no one I wish they again with Ricky Starks again. I think he's tailored for WWE. I think he could go to NXT. He's not 25. He's in his mid 30s. He's not young. Go to NXT. See how he runs with that. See if his confidence gets up. He has a good 3-4 month run. Then they can stick him on the main roster, and we'll see what happens there. And good luck to him. But I just feel personally, Ricky Starks is a WWE guy in presentation. Even his promo style for me, it was always WWE. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm saying I think that's a more suited environment to him. But
it kind of fits him, doesn't it?
Yeah. Anyway, we've given the opening match and digressed a lot from that. So we move on to the next one. I don't know who wants to run with the ball here, but the AEW World Tag Team Title match.
It was fine. It was just fine. Claudio is great. Wheeler's great. There was some decent stuff in there. I didn't, again, it was clearly thrown together quite last minute just to give them all something to do. Obviously, it leaned into the finish of the world title match. For what it was, for the time it was given, it was a nice little breather after the sort of fireworks of the opening match and for the next one. So no complaints from me, 7 out of 10. Yeah,
it was all right. It was solid enough. That's about it, really. Nothing else. It was. I did read that apparently was it Nick Jackson was injured going into that, so maybe that affected it.
He hurt his shoulder on Collision the night before, but he went through it. I mean, it was a by the books tag team match. If I thought it was good for what it was, like I said, 7 out of 10. I thought it was placed perfectly. A little cool down match after MJF and Garcia.
Do you know what the thing that I thought about this match is? I actually thought the match was better than I thought. I thought we went for just over 15 minutes. I thought the last 5-6 minutes were really, really good, perfectly orchestrated, really good pace. And I certainly thought this is a very much a by the books good AEW tag team title match. And I certainly thought if this was one of the 5 matches on a I didn't want to bring WWE into anything today, but here I go in the second fucking match. If this was a tag team match structured exactly the same with the exact same moveset that had been on the B show, people would have been going mad about it. People would have gone crazy if this was a tag match on Bash in Berlin or Backlash or one of the ones in Saudi Arabia. I think that's kind of the level we're at with the expectations of matches on the different pay-per-views now. Because I won't watch this match back because there's not enough hours in the day. And if I want to watch something back, it's going to be one of the other 4 or 5 matches that were better than it. But I genuinely think this was a very, very good tag team title match. It's just, 1, we expect that from AEW, and 2, it was sandwiched in between an amazing opener and one of the best matches of the year.
100%. You've said that in the past, though. We all have that. Like AEW just is judged differently.
Yeah,
a lot differently. And what is a very solid match for AEW would be one of the top matches on the card in any other promotion. So
yeah,
it is what it is. It was a good match. It served its purpose. Spot was probably perfect, really, in terms of second match on the card, and that's that.
And we'll probably never speak about it again. And on that note, let's go straight into one of at least three candidates for match of the night. Really, are the international title match. Ospreay beating Pac in just over 20 minutes.
Fuck me, what a match.
Oh mate, it was phenomenal. Absolutely. Like, yeah, I watched their first match and it was quality, and this one was better. Like, it was just so good. The two just cannot go wrong. They're two of the best wrestlers in the world. They, blew me away, and they set the tone. They made it very, very hard to follow that. I can't, the Poison Rana, the Styles Clash, the fucking, what was it, like the counter from the Liger Bomb into the Hurricane Rana had me on the edge of my seat. Yeah, it was unreal. The two of them just can't go wrong. Ospreay in particular is on fire right now. The dude is just having one of the best years. Yeah,
it was so good. It was relentless pace. It was flawless. It was smooth. And one thing I like is I often don't feel Pat gets his dues enough, because again, you get lost a bit in this roster, but he is one of the very best wrestlers in the world. And I'm glad that this match was about him as much as it was about Ospreay. This was both people swinging pretty fairly, I thought. And yeah, it's up there with the Takeshita and the Danielson match and the Swerve match. Those four matches, Jesus. Having them in the space of 6 months is something else.
You think like the inevitable match with Ricochet is going to be up there as well, and if they do a triple threat as well.
Yeah, it was phenomenal. Pac's on another level, isn't he? As you say, he doesn't get his due really, but he's been unfortunate with visa issues, injuries, and just timing really, and kind of got lost in the shuffle. COVID fucked him over when he couldn't get over. He's one of the best, isn't he? I can't remember who, but somebody today on Twitter said he's basically 7 years older than Ospreay, and it's essentially where Ospreay could be in 7 years in terms of the two at a very similar level. Ospreay's probably a little bit better for me, but Pac's just a beast, isn't he? It's a shame he got wasted.
Doing what he's doing at 38. I'm 38. Doing what he's doing at 38 is mad. Like you shouldn't move that. You shouldn't be that agile at 38, man.
How the fuck was he? Like, just how did they fucking misuse someone like Pac? It's ridiculous.
Because they put him on 205.
And I losing to Enzo, having losing someone who can't actually wrestle.
God, yeah.
Fucking ludicrous, man.
He's a beast. And
don't remind me of those 205 matches where Pac had to face fucking Leo Rush and Enzo, and oh mate, those days was horrible.
I like Leo. I thought his matches with Leo Rush were really good, but the ones with Enzo, Jesus, like Enzo was just not good. I mean, I understand why. I understand why your soul can move on, but like when we did, if we had Swerve v Pac, we haven't had that match, have we?
No.
That's the most mismanaged WWE match of all time. Pac v Swerve. The two of the biggest ball drops they've had will be those two. And yeah, that match would be fucking amazing if it ever happened. But anyone else anything to add on this match? Ospreay Pac, we can all agree. Uncle Dave's going to give that 5 stars, because I mean, all Ospreay's got to do is walk into the arena and he's going to get 5 stars. But
I think it's getting 6 stars, to be honest. The way he's been talking about it.
It's my match of the year.
Bro, when they entered the ring, they already started at 5 stars. By the end of it, I was saying
to be fair, we're not all the same though. As soon as Ospreay enters the ring, you're already at 5 stars anyway. The guy's on another fucking level.
Yeah,
and I would say, just said, Pac.
I would say Ospreay Danielson Dynasty 10 out of 10, and then Pac Ospreay 10 out of 10. Ospreay MJF All In 10 out of 10. Like, that's already 3 great matches he's had.
Don't forget Takeshita.
I'd say Ospreay MJF Dynamite was a 10 out of 10 for me as well. It's just It's just ridiculous how good he is.
I'm just going by pay-per-views, but yeah, the Dynamite shows are awesome as well. Like I know TK books for the sickos and puts bangers on weekly shows, but yeah, like even like you guys said, Ospreay Takeshita again, 10 out of 10. I can't wait till Kenny comes back and he runs it again with Kenny. Because that Ospreay Kenny at Forbidden Door, oh my god, that was juicy as well.
100%, that's going to be phenomenal. Yeah. While we're on this, before we move on as well, like, does Pac not own street clothes? Like now he's in this. No, I've always wondered this because like whenever he does interviews, he's in the same gear, like, and all this. He's never in anything outside of that. And like, does he go shopping in like Tesco and stuff in his phone? It's just mad.
The funniest one was when you saw that picture circulate where it looks like he's on an episode of Combine with Me with his mum, and he's got like he's got like a tartan polo shirt tucked into chinos and like the thickest glasses ever, and you wouldn't think he's like made of granite like he actually is. You know what I mean? Looks like a total like everyman.
I wonder if Pac had a Tesco meal before All In.
What do you reckon his meal deal is? Do you reckon he gets a ham sandwich, a bottle of water, and some salt and some ready salted crisps?
And he definitely doesn't eat bread. You don't have abs eating that bread. Trust me.
I think
he doesn't have no yeast.
I think he probably got like probably a chocolate bar, as in not a chocolate bar, as in like a protein bar, and probably sushi and water.
Protein bar, water, and what did you say? Sushi.
Yeah.
Yeah, sushi sounds right. Yeah, rice
or a fruit cup or something. I don't know, like a fruit cup.
Sushi sounds right.
So,
do you think he's
to transition into the next match? So, Dave Meltzer, Ospreay v Pac up now. God bless who has to follow this, and he's saying that God bless Chris Statlander and Willow Nightingale because fucking hell, that was so good.
Was that my tweet?
The match was perfect. Like, I mean, it's funny. I'm at my friend's house watching the pay-per-view, and we all knew it was going to be Stat and Willow who had the impossible job of like following the Ospreay Pac match. But holy shit, they went at 100 miles per hour to start, and it was the exact perfect way to structure the match, following Swerve and Ospreay. Like they had the impossible task of following that match, and I think they knocked it out of the park.
It was kudos to the Chicago crowd as well for having energy for both of it. It was really, really something.
It was phenomenal. It really was.
I think it was really good. It was definitely up there with sort of like Anna, Ty, Penelope and Bonnie's match, Diamante's match with Mercedes and Chris and Willow, Layla and. Who did she face? My bad, I forgot. Layla on ROH.
The Ring of Honor.
Diamante.
Yeah. Sorry, my bad. But yeah, like so many of these ladies have put on bangers when it comes to street fight, and it's like I don't know who posted it actually. I think it was Blue Fox who posted it on Twitter. It was one of those posts that will rile up people, but like it was NXT's version of Street Fight where they were throwing a beach ball at someone. Yeah.
I see it's brilliant.
Yeah, I think it's. I mean, you know what? All respect to WWE. They have their own structure. They have their own style. Obviously, they go by what they go by, right? And they basically fit their audience and they do what they do. But it's AEW is more for me, and the style of Chris and Willow, I think it's their best match that they faced one another because they've faced each other before. 100%. This is probably their best one.
It's probably my favorite women's match of the whole year, to be honest, because like you rightfully say, Blood, like we've seen this year and over the last couple of years, we've seen like AEW women like put on bangers in like hardcore matches, and they just knock it out of the park. But I think this was superb on a whole nother level. I think it's going to be, feud. Yeah, it's a feud for the ages. I think they should like at least revisit this feud like in a couple of years when they eventually 100%. Go their separate ways, and then just bring it back, just to have these as like, enemies for life. You know what I mean?
Willow's got this unique situation that she's in because she's going to have that with Mercedes as well because they're going to be intertwined for the next couple of years as well, I'd imagine. So she's going to be involved in two of the most emotionally charged female feuds in AEW. And I mean, this match is currently Stat and Knight and Willow is currently the 49th highest AEW match in cage match history, which doesn't sound that impressive, but when you consider AEW and what they put on it, it's pretty impressive. And the only women's match that's ranked higher on there is Shida Jamie Hayter from late 2022, which was an absolute banger of a match.
Yeah,
insanely good.
I was saying it's not going to be the most memorable sort of ladies street fight in AEW, but it's definitely up there. I think the best one I've seen has to be at Daly's place with Ty and Anna and obviously Penelope and Bonnie. They went crazy, and I did not expect to see that from those ladies. Like, they just, when it comes to street fights with the ladies in AEW, they just seem to like not care at all. They will give it 110%, and they will make sure that, you know, it's presented well, it's done well, and they'll try and make, like, you know, as little mistakes as possible. But yeah, I mean, it was a banger. Shout out to them.
That match you said, Blog, was where they said, "Oh no, there's too much blood. We can't have this. WBD's going to be pissed off with AEW for allowing blood on their network." Fuck off.
What about the sponsors, lads? What about the sponsors? What are we going to do with the sponsors? The sponsors aren't going to like this.
Yeah.
Like, we used to, how many awesome like street fights or Texas Deathmatch we used to get weekly. Now we seem to just wait on pay-per-views to get them, which is a bit weird because I hate that. Like Lance Archer versus Moxley, Lance Archer versus Hangman. Bro, those matches were awesome, and I'd love to see it again on a weekly show. But obviously, business being business, right? They got to do what's best for them.
Yeah. Well, look, after you talk about Lance Archer after last night's pay-per-view. We got to say Lance Archer was right. Everybody died.
But yeah, shout out to the ladies. Who was it? It was Willow bringing out the light tubes last night out of nowhere, man. I was like, holy shit! But you know what makes the match even great is that the fact that I'm sure behind the scenes they're best friends, like Willow and Stat.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you go back if you want to like compare to some. Go back to 2002 SummerSlam when Shawn Michaels came back. You know, him and Triple H in that street fight in that unsanctioned match. You know, I remember seeing the documentary. You know, behind the scenes leading up to the match, like, you know, Triple H said, you don't hit anyone harder than your best friends in the ring, and like you fucking see Willow and Stat going at it. Like, if you didn't know anybody, you thought they were pure fucking bitter enemies, like both on the camera and off the camera. But listen, they like I said, they had the impossible task of following Ospreay and Pac, and dude, they knocked it out of the park. I mean, like you said, it might be the second greatest women's match of all time. So hats off to the ladies.
Contact spot as well was really clever. Like, that's very. I don't think I've ever seen that before. Like the thumbtack bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Stunt after stunt after stunt. There was never a moment to breathe in it. It was they knew they had 15 minutes, and they're like, right, we're gonna get 15 moments into 15 minutes here, and they nailed it. It was. I mean, I love Willow as it is, and Statlander's now showing that. But half the AEW women's division, their best match in AEW has been against Chris Statlander, and that's no coincidence.
Well, what did we say last week? That, you know, Jade's only good match really, was against Statlander.
Jade's only watchable singles match was against Statlander. They not being that sounds mean, but
I get you. Good was maybe a bit over the top, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
You know what's funny is that this girl Sky Blue was probably in the back watching that match. She was probably so pissed. She was probably so pissed off, because if anyone knows Sky Blue, like she is so fucking down for the cause. Like she can't wait to be part of the first women's Blood and Guts match. Like she is for the fucking hardcore culture. Like that it's gonna be scary to see what that girl does in the future in one of these matches.
Well, they've got to do that next year, haven't they? A women's Blood and Guts. I mean, like. This year's Blood and Guts felt like it was a bit pointless. It was good in the end, but it didn't really. I was
gonna say two things based on what Brett said. You know how you said best friends always put on great matches, right? Sometimes people that have rivalries at the back, or they dislike one another for whatever reason, also can put on great matches as well, which we saw with like Britt and Thunder Rosa in that cage match. I think it was St. Patrick's episode of Dynamite, and also I have actually posted this before on Twitter, but I would love to know you guys as women's Blood and Guts teams. So let's say it's Mercedes Money, she can have her team. and then let's say Captain Britt on the other, or whatever you guys want to put together. I don't know. Let me know what you think.
Oh, I could run off real quick. I think for Mercedes, I've seen Mercedes, Camille, the Renegade Twins. I think hopefully they come together. Renegade Twins and a fifth. Man, that's up in the air right now. And maybe Stat joins Mercedes, just for the simple fact that Willow will probably be on the opposite side of the aisle.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the opposite side, you can have Willow, you can have Sky Blue, you can have Queen Aminata in there. You gotta go a little deeper. A couple, maybe Thunder Rosa, maybe a mixture of like the AEW originals on like the Team Willow side in a sense.
I'll go straight out and say I genuinely think there's not been a bad Blood and Guts match, but there's not been an oh my god, this is the best thing I've ever seen Blood and Guts match in AEW. I think if the women get the chance to run with this next year, it will be the best Blood and Guts match in AEW.
Because the women are not scared, because they it's great to see that women come out and say, look, why shouldn't we be treated exactly like the men? So we're going to go out there and we're going to show them why we should be on TV. And that's why it's going to be great, because they have nothing to lose. They will put 110% into it, and they will make sure it's memorable.
They 100%. They want to prove to people that they can do it. Because I don't know if you ever remember after the Thunder Rosa Brit match, the one you mentioned, there was some backstage.
Yeah.
When they're taking the pins out, and the first thing she was saying was, "Did Jericho watch that? Did Kenny watch that? You know, are they going to be proud of me? Is Kenny going to be made up with that?" And like they really wanted to impress the people, you know, the kind of peers, like, you know. And
somebody throw me off the cage. She's gonna be like, somebody throw me off the cage.
In a year's time, you could, you know, maybe Athena's on the other side at that point.
Oh, mate, I want to see Athena so bad in AEW, man. Like, she's killing it in ROH. I would love if they bring MIT from ROH to AEW. Start with Rampage if you don't want to bring her to Dynamite and Collision. At least make Rampage watchable, right?
I think when Athena does come up, that's going to be a big pop, because the AEW crowd are going to know what she's done. And if she went back to WWE, I think it would probably be like a relatively subdued reaction. But like when she comes up, she's got to go straight into a title picture, because she's going to feel like one of the main eventers in the women's scene as soon as she comes up.
Yeah. TBS title straight up.
100%. Her Mercedes would fucking rule. I'd love to see that match. That can headline a pay-per-view comfortably. My thinking anyway. Anyway, shall we shift on to the Continental title match? Another one that was kind of thrown together relatively late, but with 4 very sexy ingredients. What do we all think of this one?
I think it was good for what the main purpose of the match was, and that is to set up a future feud between Okada and Takeshita. That's the only purpose of this match, and it's kind of funny. Like, I think we all know that one Takeshita fan on Twitter. We know that. I'm not gonna say his name, but we all know he is. Even I had to comment like, bro, there's only one purpose. Like, he's not winning, but it's gonna set up. That's your Continental Classic final right there. Okada and Takeshita, right there. That's a pay-per-view down the line, 3-4 months. Let Takeshita. This isn't a match you build in 2 days and you blow off that feud in one night. Let Takeshita go on a 2-3 month run. Like, you kind of see he's leaning babyface. He's kind of getting babyface reactions. Maybe split from the Don Callis family, and then, you know, timing will be perfect. It'll be a passing of the torch moment when it's him versus Okada, and of course Takeshita goes over. I think that's the move to go for.
Do you not think that's the Wrestle Dream match between those two in 6 weeks' time?
Too soon.
I would put it at World's End.
I think it's too soon.
I think World's End, because if I remember correctly, last year World's End is where they did the Continental finals.
Exactly.
Last year, so I say in a perfect sense, World's End. Yeah, it's the World's End, but it's a new beginning in a sense. Like I say, it's a figurative like passing of the torch. Like Takeshita is up next.
Whoever Takeshita faces at Wrestle Dream, he has to win. He has to go over. So you'd give him a few matches to build up to this, so that he's got a few, you know, a bit behind him by the, you know, in his AEW return by the time he gets to the Continental Classic. So give him a meaty feud with somebody for now.
Yeah, but no, the match last night was great. Like, it was very, very fun. It wouldn't look out of place on like Dynamite or Collision, to be honest. And it's a good way to get Okada on the card. But yeah, having him defend it without pinning like Takeshita, Cassidy taking the pin served its purpose. And again, it was a nice cool down match, which is weird for Okada. But yeah, I thought it was decent. And yeah, I agree with everything Brett said about Takeshita in the C2 finals.
And it was great seeing Mark Briscoe's brilliant, isn't he?
Every time he's on screen. That was I loved last night about it. That's such contrasting styles between the laissez-faire, chilled orange Cassidy, whatever brilliance Okada's doing at the moment, the intensity and just physical specimen that Takeshita is, and just whatever the fuck you want to describe Mark Briscoe as, but whatever it is, it's brilliant. And I can't have a bad word said about Mark Briscoe, but it was 4 ingredients that made up for. It was a very good match. Again, it's the kind of match that if this match was placed on other companies' cards, it will be getting raved as being like a 9 out of 10 kind of match. But again, coming after 2 match of the year contenders in different reasons, it was always going to at some point slow the pace down or add just a bit of comic relief as such, but just something a bit more not so we're going to die kind of match.
Chilled, yeah.
Which we achieved. I don't think anything else needs to be said about that. We're going to get Takeshita Okada down the line. That's great. Briscoe and Cassidy can go off doing their nonsense. Just keep them away from Strong, Tavern and Bennett and so forth, because I don't think anyone needs to see that anymore. Let Briscoe and Cassidy do other things. Keep them together because I don't know that I want them on TV. They deserve to be on TV, and Kyle O'Reilly as well. So yeah, it was a one and done. It was a fun match, and it sets things up for the future. And then on to probably, let's be honest, the low light of the day. Not as low as people would like you to believe online. It was a bit of a weird ending. And it was nowhere near as bad as the TBS title match at Wembley, which was a genuinely bad match. But in my opinion anyway. Mercedes Shida, what are you guys thinking?
I mean, I disagree that Britt and Mercedes was bad, because on rewatch it wasn't that bad. I think it just had the unfortunate placement following Ospreay in London. But yeah, this one again with Shida's good. Mercedes is killing it. I think she's really on a different level to a lot of other women. Not a lot, but like a few other women on the roster. So yeah, but Shida's a good opponent. They gelled well. I thought it was better than their Dynamite match. But yeah, it was definitely just there. Happy with the result. It was pretty much never in doubt. So we'll see. Interesting to see who Mercedes feuds with next going into Wrestle Dream.
It was again, this was a bit negative, but it's just how I feel watching it. It touches on what you said there about Mercedes, not many women being on her level, which is 100% true. I thought Shida struggled to keep up with Mercedes a bit last night. I thought the last 5-6 minutes of that match, I thought if it's again, look, it's age, whatever, but I felt that there was a different level to the pacing of the match between the two women. And I hate saying that. Shida rules, and she's probably got the best match up there with Stat as the best match catalogue for any woman in AEW history. But I thought it a couple of times recently, if I'm being honest, and I personally found it actually quite noticeable last night at times.
I agree with Dan, and firstly, and I don't actually think the All-In match was that bad. I think it suffered from positioning. The crowd as well. The crowd was dead. Yeah, and it also suffered from this bizarre pile on that seems to be going on in terms of Brit at the moment, where everyone's I mean, after last night's match, people were still going, Brit, and it's like that was 2 weeks ago, mate. There's different matches, and people asking Tony about it in the press and all that shit. But I just find that bizarre. But the match last night, I thought it was very similar. It was a solid match. It wasn't as good as I'd hoped. I agree with you that I feel like Shida's maybe a step below Mercedes towards the end of the match there, but something went wrong. I don't know what it was. I mean, I've seen people suggest it was the wig. Something went wrong. You could see the points. Maybe it was the last 5 minutes, similar to what you say there, but something wasn't right, and it didn't seem to be clicking.
Someone pointed out that I think there was a particular head kick that Shida hit Mercedes with that may have kind of knocked her a little loopy for a bit.
It could be that. It could be the wig, whatever. But the bottom line is that the match was all right. It was I'd probably give it a 7 out of 10. if I'm being generous. But that finish is fucking dog shit, and it ruins everything for me whenever she's the best women's wrestler on the planet for me. But that finish is fucking shite, and it takes away anything that she does in the ring because it's awful. And if you watched the finish from last night, it was terrible.
It's just falls flat, doesn't it?
I rather she just does the backstabber.
I agree.
Into what she used to do, a backstabber, and then into like a face lock or headlock or whatever.
Yeah, totally agree.
Just do that rather than what you're doing right now. The moneymaker thing, maybe use it time to time when you actually learn everyone's move and you're actually familiar with everyone on the roster. Maybe synced in, but hopefully she can just keep getting better and better, and hopefully we can get better matches. Because I can't really judge her yet because she's not been there that long. So hopefully with time she'll get better.
That's a very good shout on saving the moneymaker for certain occasions. I agree on that. I like that.
So at this point, we had 6 matches, and I'm sitting there thinking, right, it's an AEW pay-per-view. There's another 8 or 9 matches to go. So I was a bit, oh, fuck, we're on to the double main event already. I mean, I know it was about 4 a.m., but I was having such a good time at this point. I didn't want it to be anywhere near coming to an end. And then we got to a match that, again, was always going to be received in a certain way because certain fans don't like Jack Perry because they like another person. And then obviously when they went to do his entrance, a lot of people ran backstage, and that had Twitter briefly melting down that there'd been a brawl out too. And everyone seemed to be getting quite excited at the thought of some more disruption in AEW. It was quite embarrassing to see online. But yeah, so what did we think of Danielson against Jack Perry? Nearly half an hour. I think it's the second longest match of the night. It was it was a long one.
To be honest, it flew by. I thought it really kind of just they gelled well. Danielson just can't go wrong. To be honest, I don't think he can never really have like a truly bad match.
No,
Jack Perry's come on like leaps and bounds in the last like year, especially since his run in Japan. And I think the finish and the the conclusion of the match will probably get talked about more because there was a lot that unraveled. Yeah, I feel like my prophecy came true when Kill Switch and Jack had the interaction. Christian came down teasing a cash in, and then the BCC reunion. I think that will get talked about more, especially the post match stuff. It was just, oh my god, I was shocked. I didn't think that would actually happen, to be honest.
It was as soon as that match finished. I'll be perfectly honest here. The 5-minute period was probably my favorite. I know I do like a bit of hyperbole, but I think it was my favorite. It overtook the end of All Out 2021 for me. It was my favorite. I literally, again, I was pretty drunk by this point, but I completely lost composure at this point. My wife had got fed up with me and gone into the bedroom, and she came in and told me she's like, said, it's 4:30 in the morning. Can you shut up? Because I started like yelling at the TV and stuff, because it was incident after incident for about 5 minutes. It was amazing. It was so good.
It was incredible.
I was actually so angry because I thought genuinely Christian Cage is going to cut short Danielson's title run. But then when I saw BCC come out and John Moxley come out, I thought, oh, cool, this is going to be awesome. But something seems a bit off. And then when that happened to Danielson, oh my God, I lost it. And you know what? I'll give this, I'll do it quickly and then I'll let you guys sort of like finish it off. I really like that they brought Marina into this. And I think it's really good to sort of like add a little bit of female sort of wrestlers into male factions, like what they've done with Layla Gray with Top Flight. That's really great because she's not sitting at home cashing money, whatever. She's actually being used and utilized, which is great. I think if they give her a mic, like a live mic, and let her say the intro, that will be really cool. And yeah, building Marina. I think Serena Deep will be great for BCC as well. At least she'll get used more. Jamie Hayter will be great for BCC as well. But yeah, I mean, let's see what happens. I don't know if that means Utah's now going to be kicked out and the trio's going to be lost and someone else is going to be trios. BCC's over. I don't know what's happening, but I'll leave it to you guys now. Sorry for babbling on.
Let's go, man.
Can I say, just running through that 5-minute period. So from Danielson kicking the shit out of him for the last couple of minutes, we got the Luchasaurus and Jack Perry reuniting bit, which I loved. Then you got Christian's music hits. That's amazing. Moxley intercepts then and just looks like a fucking beast standing there. You've got the brief, reuniting of the BCC again. We haven't seen Moxley and Danielson in the ring together for forever.
Exactly.
You've then got Claudio uppercutting him. You've got the look of Danielson there. You've then got Moxley trying to murder him. Wheeler Yuta's acting brilliant. He went up tenfold in my estimation last night. JR's commentary was fucking brilliant, and the
so
crowd
good to see JR back.
It was perfect. It was perfection. It was everything I could want in a pro wrestling segment. It was so fucking good. And the minute I saw Danielson in the ring smiling when Moxley was there, I thought they're going to keep the shit out of him in a minute.
He had that look on his face. Do you remember what was the match? It was when he was doing the amateur stuff when he was replacing Punk fucking up. And who was it? It was the Elite. Okay, remember when he was on commentary anyway, and there's that famous meme of him just laughing on commentary. That's the look he had on his face in the ring, and that's when you knew you were like, something's going fuck.
Yeah,
Mark, just to touch on what you said, in regards to Danielson sort of like getting up and sort of laughing, I for a second thought the BCC's like in front of like obviously the patriarchy. I thought someone's going to attack Danielson from behind, and this is going to be a debut, or it's going to be a really like a shocking moment. But it just when Claudio punched him, and that look on Danielson, I love that he didn't sell it.
Yeah,
I actually liked it. People people complained about it, but I actually liked it. I like how he just sat down and was like, "What the hell?"
I think it was
that look.
Maybe it was just more of the shock in the moment, like, you know, that he was just so shocked and surprised that it didn't even give him time to register the pain from the punch and the uppercut, like which is so real in a sense. But you know, just to touch real quick on Yuta, like, I mean, first off, like, you know, with freaking Pac holding Yuta back, like Yuta, you know, bowling in tears.
That was awesome.
I don't think Yuta's gonna leave the group. I think it's gonna be a point of a manipulation amongst like you know, Claudio and Pac. Like, they're gonna be inside really Yuta's head that they're gonna convince him, they're gonna coerce him in a way to stay with the group. They're gonna justify their actions through whatever reasons to, like, you know, keep Wheeler around.
Brett, just to touch on this, sorry Mark, just to touch on what Brett said. I think I got a weird feeling about this. I don't know if it's true or not. Obviously, it might not happen, but I got a feeling where they might also somehow in one way kick Yuta out. The reason being for that is because when I was watching last night, I thought, okay, Bryan was the one that introduced Yuta to the group. And then sort of Moxley agreed with Bryan. And then obviously Regal said, okay, cool, let's do this. Let's bring him in. But he has to fight you, etc., and all this stuff. So I got a feeling if they're kicking Bryan out, that means Yuta's got to go as well. But then again, they might switch it up completely and have Yuta, like, I don't know, turn heel as well and beat up Danielson or whatever. But like you guys all said, he's selling and the crying and the whole like being in pain for his mentor. That was great.
Him not joining in made that moment so much better for me. The fact that he was there being held back, the way Pat was holding him back, just the big brother, it was just brutal the way he was doing it. It was just, it added so much. If you had turned on him and they'd all just beaten him up, it wouldn't have had anywhere near the same impact, I don't think, as it did have cutting from you looking disgusted and distraught, like even like Claudio just smacking him in the face one point, like just like bullying their little brother they don't really respect, like they just don't take him seriously. Like, I don't think he's going to stay with him. I think that he really gets them back. They're going to get a massive comeuppance a long way down the line from Wheeler Yuta, because like he went from someone that I never cared about Wheeler Yuta until last night, and now I'm really invested in what they're going to do with him in the next couple of months.
Yeah.
I thought the match was brilliant. I think Jack Perry is so underrated. He doesn't get enough credits. People still jumping on the Punk shite with him. And that finish, I think like what you said with Danielson not selling the punch, the look meant more than if he was selling. You know, if he sold it, that look had so much more of an effect than if he went down and was out or whatever. You know, it was fucking brilliant. And when Mox turned up, I thought Mox was actually going to step aside and just let Christian through.
Yeah, that was my initial thought. Yeah.
I was thinking of Dan, because he's Dan's there. I was like, he's going to be loving this with the Luchasaurus thing.
Yeah.
But then when Christian said that, my first reaction was, please no, don't do a Money in the Bank fucking bullshit ending. I don't want this. And then I thought, here we go, Mox is going to step aside here. I didn't see the full turn coming, which I probably should have in hindsight. But for me now, this gives me a little bit more in my fancy booking idea that I've told you about. This gives me a little bit more of kind of belief that it may still happen. It's not finished. Bryan Danielson is going to need some backup. He's going to need some friends.
Yeah.
And that's where they could actually bring in Daniel Garcia and Wheeler Yuta to partner with.
Darby Allin's going to be involved in the storyline heavily as well now.
Well,
Darby
not
Allin's
only that,
he's fighting Danielson in 2 weeks. He's been mentioned by Moxley, so he's going to go one way or the other. So you can easily see it being the BCC, and then you can see. I don't know what Garcia's future is, if it's still going to be with MJF, but then Wheeler Yuta, Darby Allin, and Danielson. I see that being a trios match or some kind of thing down the line.
Not only that, but I sorry, go on.
No, sorry, I was just saying. What did Mark say? Bryan, Garcia, and Yuta as a trios down the line.
Darby Allin will be involved.
Okay, yeah. That's a good shout. Yeah, that's a good shout.
Well, I know this is out there, but I still want this to happen. Like when I think of Bryan Danielson and his rival, I think of, I'm a rock man, so I think of Slash and Axl Rose hated each other's guts, and Scott Weiland was slagging off Axl Rose, and Slash says to him, "Hey, shut the fuck up! You don't know him. He was my mate, and I have reasons for hating him. You don't even fucking have reasons for hating him." So what I want Bryan Danielson's biggest rival to back him up against these cunts so that he can get his match in the end against Bryan Danielson. I want it to be like Apollo Creed and Rocky at the end when Apollo says, I'm going to help you.
Who would you say is Bryan's sort of like,
well, it's Nigel McGuinness. I want Nigel McGuinness to back him up on the understanding that I get my fucking match with you. The same as Apollo Creed and Rocky at the end of Rocky 3.
I get that.
I'm going to help you.
What if Nigel's not available from the roster? Who would you pick?
Oh God,
Samoa Joe.
No, that's a good shout.
Samoa Joe is a good shout. That's a lot of history there.
We could have a list. We could have a long list of Bryan Danielson's great rivals chipping in to help him here if he is genuinely on his last full-time run. But I agree with you, Eddie Kingston, Daniel Garcia. Yeah, Eddie Kingston. After that last feud, they made up and they kind of realised, we actually do have respect for each other. Bryan Danielson was like, I just wanted you to show me what you can do.
Eddie also has reason because he said that Claudio was a piece of shit and was going to stab everybody in the back.
And that would also give us that dynamic between Eddie and Mox again, which I thought was brilliant in the last feud when Eddie just couldn't bring himself to go for Mox. He would go for everybody else, but Mox, he just wouldn't do it because he fucking loves the man.
Let's say they remove the name BCC and let's just say, for example, Team Mox versus Team Bryan, right? If you this is, I love doing stuff like this. I don't know why. It just reminds me of Survivor Series, and I just love that concept. I don't know why, but anyway, let's say Moxley, Yuta, Pac, and Claudio, right? So that's 4 right there. Who would you add as the 5th member? Swerve and Kenny Omega on one side. Who would you add the 5th member to Team Mox? Would it be Darby then, or would it be someone else?
I honestly think Darby might turn. I don't know why. I've got no.
But do you think Sting will come out again?
I don't know, but I could just see Darby turn. I think all this Mox looking for Darby is leading us to think he wants Darby. But I've got a feeling Darby could turn. Because don't forget, Darby's got that title shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, to be honest. I feel like Darby's so, like, AEW's my home.
He's this generation's Jeff Hardy.
Exactly, yeah. He's like, I love AEW. AEW's my home. I don't know if he will work as a heel. Because, like, if he's a heel, I don't know. I think his matches and results will be too predictable.
I agree, but I don't know why. I just think it's something that they might do just because of how over he is and how he's the one you would least expect.
I guess they can try, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe
they'll tease it. They might tease it and just be like, in the end, Darby's like, no, fuck this. I'm going to go and climb Everest. Good luck.
Halfway through a feud.
The one I really want, like I say, is I want Nigel McGuinness to back him up. And what he wants is that last match with Bryan Danielson. Because don't forget, Nigel said he'll talk about. I don't know if you've seen. Was it?
Yeah, he said it on 0 Hour.
Well, the collision as well after All In, when Tony was saying to him, "Look, Christian, you've been bigging him up," and he says, "I'll talk about that soon." He said he basically did what I would have done, but I'll talk about that in the future. I'm willing this into existence. I'm not going to stop on this. I need Nigel McGuinness giving it yes chance.
He was awesome, man. I popped when he actually came out. I couldn't believe it. It was so good.
I was in awe.
Yeah, it was just so awesome, like so unexpected, and I like everyone was expecting Ricochet to be there, but for Nigel to come out, I was like, "What in the world is going on? This is awesome!" Because I was wondering where he was on commentary. I was like, "Why is Taz there? Like, where the hell's Nigel?"
But like I was saying to the lads last week, if you watch it back on TV as well and you hear the commentary, it works so well because he gets the kiss off Mariah, and he's like, "Oh, I can't carry on, lads. I can't carry on." And then the lads are like, "Yeah, go on, you go and do what you got to do." And like, that's it, he's gone. And then nobody expected him coming out, but yeah, we'll see. Hopefully they'll do something with this, with the Bryan stuff. But it's great. The pay-per-view is amazing. I love it.
I'm excited for Wednesday.
I love wrestling again, and I fell out of wrestling for a very long time, so this stuff just gets me so hyped.
And so again, coming off of that match and that the I don't know if you call it a high when someone nearly dies in the ring, but whatever it was, the emotional roller coaster that was the end of the world title match into one of the most eagerly anticipated AEW matches of all time. Certainly, I think the most anticipated non-title match in AEW history. I don't even know where the fuck do you start with Swerve and Hangman.
We gotta go back to Wednesday real quick before we get into the match.
We've got to go to Wednesday. We've got to go back to Wednesday, yeah.
I mean, first up, before even Dynamite, early in the afternoon, we see the video of Swerve buying his childhood home. Nice touching moment. That's all good and stuff. But I love that, not just amongst all my friends in my in the Discords and group chats that I have, but my entire Twitter timeline. It's like we all knew once we saw him buying the house, like we knew that there was some fuckery coming around, and Hangman was going to be involved. And you fast forward to the end of Dynamite that night, and we were all proven right.
Yeah, I love that, the way everyone just universally went, "Oh shit, here we go."
I enjoyed Dave Meltzer. Someone, when he tweeted about just the house being bought, someone put in his comments about, "Oh, that's going to be an angle. It's going to get set on fire." And you saw Dave Meltzer suddenly just lit up at the thought of it on social media and got very excited by it. We all knew it was happening. It was always going to be happening from the minute that they started promoting and buying this house. But it didn't take away from just how fucking perfectly executed it was. Hangman is just so good. Like, he's just, everything about that man is just fucking perfection, and it has been from day one in AEW. And just the visual of him sitting there after a brilliant monologue, just sitting there drinking the whiskey, and it must have been fucking hot behind him as well. And he didn't flinch. It was so badass.
Literally, as I was watching that, I was genuinely straight away, I was like, "That's Trevor from GTA." Because that's basically what it was, part of the game, right? Where Trevor went and sort of burnt that farmhouse. And he just literally, as I was watching Hangman, I was like, "Oh my god, this is basically Trevor of AEW." Just
there was much more Trevor from GTA than it was Randy Orton setting fire to a ghost house.
Oh yeah, for sure, yeah.
It was just, the visuals were just so different. Like it was just, it was brilliant, and it added that. This match didn't even need another layer, but what they did last night was very, very special.
It's in Hangman's like Titantron as well, like his entrance video with the burning house. What a nice touch! Superb.
The horse's eyes is fire, and then obviously there's like the house, and then Hangman's face basically shows up, and then the writing comes. I think, that's what I like when Titantrons are actually done with a lot of thought. Nowadays, it's just color and the wrestler's name, which I hate. I used to love WWE when they did those Titantrons, where you actually see the wrestlers
move and everything.
Exactly. I would love for them to bring it back. I hate this whole like just one color and just a name there. It's just like, it's just so like, I don't know. Put some effort into it. Like, very lazy. Yeah.
I love the way the whole burning down the house as well. went back to earlier in the feud when some of the actual things they've said to each other. It's the main character, Hangman.
Yeah,
he's the main character. He always has been from day one. If you think about it,
100%.
But yeah, the match. Should we talk about the match? It was amazing. It was brutal. There was things in there I've never seen before. There was things I've seen before, but that were done better. It's the worst thing about this match is if you are in the unfortunate position of being a WWE fan, that cage match next week is going to look like two lads on a bouncy castle, isn't it?
The fact that one of the people
two lads in
can't wrestle as it is. There's only so much Cody can do. Again, like carrying that dead horse around the ring. This cage match for me, it had everything that I want in a cage match, and it had everything that would outrage the people that I really enjoy being outraged as well, because I knew certain people were going to just lose their shit. That tin pot referee from WWE who's decided he wants to, I don't know what I can never remember. What's his name? What's that ref's name?
Nobody cares. He's a fucking bellend.
Yeah, him waffling on. You knew the usual losers are going to start moaning and bitching about it. Coachman again coming out like just chatting shit. You knew it was going to make the bad guys cry. The idiots were going to be offended by this, and that makes it all the better. It was innovative, it was brutal, and it was the most gimmicked chair shot ever. When you see it from the crowd shot, like the chair's basically hanging off, so it just goes straight through. Like he literally wouldn't have felt anything there, and people are crying about it. If you're crying about that, you cry about every DDT, or you cry about every pile driver.
Ricky Morton's crying. Ricky Morton's crying, and he was begging for a job a couple of weeks ago. He was the one giving it all. I can help with these guys, with selling and psychology. Fuck off! If you can't tell if a chair shot's fucking gimmicked, you're not going to offer anything, mate.
He's a cornet guy, so of course he's going to have a problem in it.
He was waffling on there about I think chair shots should be outlawed. I've took a few in my time, and I'm reading it thinking I can tell.
You took actual fucking chair shots from real proper chairs that are being smashed over your fucking dumb skull. This
and you can tell
a little bit of aluminium that was obviously gentle. It made a great noise. It was obviously like being hit with like a tin of chocolate lid. It was because it made the great noise. It has zero impact on him, and they cut it perfectly to make it look brutal. The crowd reacted to it wonderfully. It was absolute perfection. And the only thing better than that was Hangman Page's antics after as well, because Jesus Christ,
the syringe in the mouth.
Oh no, that I didn't want to see that. That was the syringe was what fucked me up. I've got a phobia of needles, man. Oh fuck no.
I had a flashback. I've been watching Dexter recently, and I had a thought that he had like the M99 or whatever it's called. Just thought he's going to drug him and just strip him to a table and stab him.
I've got a phobia of needles.
Just so I know I'm not like going insane here. The syringe was empty, right?
It looked like it.
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah, because
I've got.
I was scared. I thought, what the hell has he just inserted Swerve with? That was crazy. That just came out of nowhere. And like Mark was saying, it's gonna ruffle some feathers, right, online, where people are gonna be like, "That's not wrestling. Why is he using a syringe?"
Oh, there's already been that.
Oh yeah. To be honest, since last night, I think it finished. I didn't watch the media scrum either. I went straight to bed because I woke up around 8 a.m. I got up about 9ish. I went to football, aka soccer, and I came home around. I came home football. Around like 2:30.
I know what sport you're talking about. It's okay.
No, I'm saying it for the American audience, right?
Yeah,
so good. But yeah, no, I came home at like 2:30 in the afternoon, so I was so knackered. I ended up going out with friends again to a restaurant and bar and stuff. And I think I was telling Andy, I got home about literally 9 o'clock as I was about to get on this. So I'm super tired, super knackered, and I can't remember. Like I'm still tired from the match and from football. So yeah, I'm losing my mind. I need to watch that again. To be honest, I want to watch that again because that was nuts. It was just nuts. And I think that chair shot, Mark, you're on about, I think they did that on purpose. The whole sort of like, grazing his head and just going into the slot, because when Mark Briscoe did it in the Blood and Guts, everyone like made a big deal out of it. So I think they did that on purpose.
100%. I agree with that.
It's funny. I think what Mark said about like being hit with a Rose's tin lid. That's what it's like. I don't know if any of you ever try swinging a big piece of metal around. It doesn't make the noise that these fuckers make. This sounds like it's fucking lid of a fucking Rose or Quality Street. This.
Do you know what? Like this
Quality Street.
Looking at
celebrations as well. That's plastic. Yeah.
looking at like saying that people reacted badly to it. Other people actually surprisingly haven't. Like even you can jump in here and say what you want to say when I say his name, Andy. But even Bully Ray, Dave LaGreca has come out, which will be interesting because he said, spoiler alert, I fucking loved the show last night. So it has been received by pretty anti-AEW people quite well, to be honest.
Fucking hell, I'm surprised Dave LaGreca wasn't saying justice for Cody. But, you know.
His tweet is, spoiler alert, I fucking loved the show last night. Hashtag AEW All Out. So, which is like, I'm glad because like to not have enjoyed what they put on last night is not enjoying it for the sake of enjoying it. Like there's some things that are very hard to deny that they're really good. It's like watching Gunther v Drew v Sheamus at WrestleMania and saying it was a shit match. It's like, just come on, like you're clearly just like letting your bias take over here. Like the show was incredible last night. The cage match was fucking brutal, and Hangman Page's post-match antics were just fucking amazing.
That was so good. The quiver
So
lip as he realizes what he's done. I cannot wait to see where they go with this because they could go anyway. You know, they could go left or right with this, and it will work.
Yeah.
I don't think it will be ever matched.
Yeah, I can't think of anything else that would sort of match that type of violence, apart from obviously, you know, your Texas matches that were on Dynamite between Archer and Mox and Archer and Hangman. They were quite good as well, but I don't think it was as intense as this cage match. So, I can't think of anything else within the past 5 years that was close to this.
So, for me, there's 2 matches left between Page and Swerve. There's exploding barbed wire death match, and then down the line, eventually, there's the world title match.
Yeah,
bro, you're trying to kill them. Exploding bomb.
That's all that's left. That if they are going to do another gimmick, that's the only thing that you've got left now.
I would love to see that done and done properly because it really grates on me how good that Moxley Omega match was.
And no one remembers the match.
Yeah, all people remember is the end, but that match was phenomenal.
Yeah, it was a quality match. Unfortunate with the ending, but you know, it was a quality match for sure. You know what? I wouldn't be mad if they did a sort of mix of like Texas street fight parking lot brawl.
Yeah.
So, there's one more gimmick match. I think. I mean, what is it now? It's 2-1 to Swerve, isn't it? With one draw.
Yeah.
So yes, Hangman wins the next gimmick match, and then eventually there's the world title match between the two because that's what it all boils down to at the end of the day.
You know what we've got though? We've got to have the brawl at the building site on the plot of Swerve's burnt down house. That's what they need to do. Swerve's house is being rebuilt.
That's basically like the Hardy compound, right?
Because they could, but they could build it. A little bit better, but they could build it however they want for the match as well. Because it's clearly not going to be a real house that they're going to be building. They could set that up however they want.
That's a good shout. Well, I don't think TK and the team will think like that, but that's a good shout.
Everywhere, yeah, you could do all sorts with that. But yeah, I do agree. One more match whenever Swerve comes back, whichever way we go with Hangman, and then the title match, which you would imagine Hangman will be the champion by that point.
Yeah, so and that's when Swerve wins it back.
Yeah.
What I would personally like as the next champion, I would like Bryan to have a long run, even if it's till probably, I would say the pay-per-view who should sort of like give it up and sort of like end his run should be the one in Japan, in Tokyo Dome. And I want Kenny to be the one to sort of like take it off him. So they basically debut Bryan against Kenny, and then his final match would be against Kenny. Like that's basically my dream sort of scenario as a match for Bryan's sort of last match, being against Kenny and losing to Kenny and basically shaking hands and sort of walking out the door on good terms, basically, and finally showing respect to Kenny.
You had me at Kenny, so yeah.
Whoever beats Swerve for that world title, I think is having a very short reign because I think Christy has taken it off on that night. unless it is actually Christian that beats Danielson, but I don't think that's the case.
Yeah.
Watching the way that happened last night, I can see Christian dragging this out,
I hope they don't do like what happened last night a lot, because that's very WWE, and it's very...
I was dreading that. I don't want to see him Money in the Bank cashing. I don't mind Christian beating the shit out of someone at the end of a pay-per-view and leaving him in like a bad state for the Wednesday, and maybe going at them on Wednesday, or maybe the go home show beat the shit out of him and have them kind of fucked for the pay-per-view. But don't give me a Money in the Bank cashing, please.
Yeah, don't let it be like what's his name, Damien.
I hate them. I don't like them at all. They're so cheap for me.
It's so run out
takes so long.
It's run its course. It's run its course massively. It's not entertaining. The Priest one was actually decent this year, but since I've been watching again in 2016, that's literally been the only innovative or interesting cash-in they've done probably since Dolph. No, since Ambrose won it at Money in the Bank when he beat Rollins after Rollins had beaten Reigns, which was great, good shit. Like that, you've had 8 years of one good cash-in since then. It's really run its course. The matches are never particularly good now. It's died a death. I think that what would happen with Christian is maybe there's a pay-per-view when the title match has got a stipulation. It's going to be a brutal match. And maybe at the beginning of the night, he challenges and says, I'm fighting the winner later tonight. I'm fighting the winner of the title match tonight or something. Because I don't want it to be him running down and handing the contract over and getting the pin, because it's too much of a knockoff.
I do want him winning the title though. Like I think just you want his name on the list of his title, and he deserves it. He's fucking brilliant. What he's done in the last 2-3 years is just ridiculous.
He has been brilliant for AEW. Adam Copeland as champion as well.
Yeah, we were saying that's probably something TK is going to want, isn't it? Even if it's just a month. Yeah,
but I mean, that could be what happens, that Copeland wins it and pay-per-view, he comes out to celebrate on Dynamite and he's beaten up, and then
the Copeland wins it and Christian cashes in on him. I like that.
That's
I love the idea of that.
Yeah, but that's what happened with the TNT though. So if they repeat it again with the world title, won't people get pissed off and say why they're repeating the same story?
Well, this would be the opposite way round, wouldn't it? This would be Christian taking it off Copeland's. I'd have Christian hold it for a bit longer. Copeland, I don't know how you get there. I'm sure we can work away. Copeland win the world title, and then Christian.
Yeah, but who's beating Bryan? Are you saying that Christian's going to be the one, or Hangman, or Swerve?
I don't know. Honestly, I have no idea.
There's too many potential candidates.
Way too many, and also remember Samoa Joe's coming back soon, so he's not had a rematch. I don't think, if I'm not mistaken. So he's going to be wanting a rematch, I guess.
When's he back? Is the end of when's the filming finished? Is the end of the month? Is it
October?
Yeah, he'll be wanting a rematch. You're right.
Yeah, because there you go. So there's so many candidates, and then obviously when Kenny finally officially comes back, I am sure they will slowly want to get him back in the title picture, because he was such a big key as the champion. So I would love for Kenny to become like 2-time champion or whatever. It would be cool to see. And like I said, my dream scenario is for in the Tokyo Dome, maybe a surprise match or mystery opponent for Bryan, and it comes out Kenny. And Kenny comes out and wins it in the Tokyo Dome again. And then, comes back to the US as the champion.
I agree with what you say there as well, because we don't know how healthy Kenny is, how his body's going to be. So you want to give him another run as soon as you can, really, before it might be too late. Hopefully he comes back and he's 100%. But he's been through a lot, hasn't he? So
I'm being a bit pessimistic here, but I think Kenny's coming back to do Golden Lovers shit for a good while at least.
Yeah, I saw somewhere online that Kota Ibushi apparently said in an interview that he's healthy, he's slowly getting back into it, but Kenny's also on the road to recovery and hopefully he'll be back soon. And they want to sort of focus on the Golden Lovers angle, and they want to actually do a storyline where it's basically showcasing, two men can love one another and like be friends and good friends and all that stuff. So I think that's what they want to do. But again, someone could have been writing bollocks on there. Do you know what I mean? But hopefully they both come back.
Ibushi said it on Twitter. Basically, he's in DDT waiting for Kenny.
Yeah, I saw that one as well. Yeah.
At the end of the day, the tag team division needs a shot. We got a few nice changes there over the last week. So we got a couple of feuds coming out of it, and you wouldn't say no to Kenny and Kota going for it.
I said something online. I don't know if you guys agree or not, but like I read a lot of people complain about how AEW's got way too many title belts, right? So instead of like getting rid of some of them, why don't they just unify the trios into actually one title where it's defended on AEW and ROH? It represents both brands, right? And then you basically introduce the women's tag titles where again it's defended on AEW and ROH, and the belt can look, I don't know, probably have AEW and ROH logos on there, but look like a nice belt, so you don't have to say, oh well, that's an ROH belt, what's it doing on AEW. I would love for them to sort of introduce AEW women's tag titles, because there's so many good tag teams out there.
Well, thanks for joining us, everyone, for another great episode of the Group Chat Wrestling Podcast. Let us know what you think on Twitter. You know all our hats by now. And have a good week and enjoy some great wrestling.